Howdy everybody, this is Slutibartfast, and this is me showing off my submarine that I created. Now before I actually show the submarine, I actually wanted to show you the kind of things that it's able to do. This entire area that you see in front of you is actually the submarine and what it did. Now you may say that this looks like, oh, this is just a quarry that just ran through, but this is basically a quarry on steroids. So I was able to create multiple of these. If you look at this entire area, this was just done with my Subterrain ship that I had created using frames and block breakers and things like that. And to show you the ship and everything like that, this is what it looks like. Bum, ba, da, bum, 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 bum. It is huge. How tall is that? That is a 18 by 9 by 6 ship. Oops. Okay, that was strange. For some reason my jetpack didn't want to work. But luckily I was able to get out of that humongous hole that I was stuck in. And to show you, here's the side of the ship. And give you an idea, here's the front of the ship, and you could actually see a piece of the computer actually sticking out to the side. And let's go inside and take a look. As you can see when you first walk in, there is a computer terminal with the CPU and a block of memory, because when I was trying to write this, unfortunately I ran out of memory. Obviously a diskette to boot up the fourth disk, a I/O expander so that way we would be able to communicate with the wires with the bundled cable, and a world anchor so that way this area is continually loading or saving, and of course an ender chest. Now what's really cool about this is that even though it's getting dark inside here, no monsters actually spawn inside the ship, so you are completely safe to like roam around the ship and take a look and do whatever you need to do. Obviously there's huge amounts of battery packs in order to save the energy using solar panels. There's two areas that have this. You have this area right here that controls the forward, backwards, left, and right. And you have this area back here which controls the up and down. And to give you an idea of how this works hardware wise, what ends up happening is the signal comes in, this one ends up picking up this one right here, pulls it up, and then as it comes up, this red wire right here is still active. So as soon as this frame mover ends up hitting this red wire right here, it actually ends up moving up the entire frame, and then it comes back down. So it's a continual loop of this basically moving up, moving the frame up, and then coming back down, and then the thing turns off. The same way, if behind here is the one for moving down, it's behind this block right here, and what ends up happening is this block moves this one down. You can't see it, but it's there. And then it activates next to the red wire, which you could actually see right here from a distance. It moves that down, activates with the red wire, and moves the entire thing downward. The same kind of actions happen along here for the up, down, left, right. As you can see, this one had already moved, but that's okay. But normally what will happen is it will turn on. It will move this one right here to the side. It will touch red wire as it is right now, and if it was activated, it would actually move the ship to the left. So you ask, how do we easily control this? Well, obviously with a computer, and you can see a list of numbers there, and that's just for my own output, so that way I'm able to see how far it has gone before it has actually reached the end. And let's take a look at all the things that I've had to code up in order to do this here. Obviously there's a lot of things that I didn't have to do, but if you look at the very beginning, I began with some of the basic stuff, which are basically constant variables to each wire. And if you look back here, one of the first things I did was up, and this is the control that moves it up, and obviously it's a white wire, so I set up to the value of 1. Now I did the same thing with a couple of others: down, left, right, forwards, backwards, and even dig switch. So the values are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and 64. Of course, this works in binary, and maybe later in the future I'll provide a video on how binary works and how you could actually, if you really wanted to, move or calculate values and how to work with binary. The second thing that I did was a pulse. And pulse, all it does is takes in the value that was put onto the stack. It ends up duplicating the value. Once duplicated, it ends up activating it, or IOX set, waits 30 ticks, IOX resets to turn it off, and waits another 30 ticks. So that basically all it does is turn the wires on and off, provided you give it a value. So if you look here, we give it the value of up. First off, let me show you nothing on the stack. Okay, we type in up, and now we have the value of 1 on the stack. So if we call pulse, it's going to take in that value that is on the stack and turn it on and then turn it off. So let's go ahead and do that. Choppy, but we did move up a step. Okay. And of course, nothing is no longer on, there's nothing on the stack anymore. So that's all it does. It just takes in the value, turns it on, turns it off. Nothing more. The next step that I decided to create was simple commands such as move up, move down, it's over here, move down, move right, move left, move forward, move backwards. And of course dig is in there, hidden, there it is, there's dig. And all it does is do, let's say that we wanted to move up. That's all it is. That is the command for move up. And it's the same way for move down, move left, move right, everything like that. And of course dig activates. I don't have my panels and you can't exactly see it, but underneath I have, there we go, the pneumatic tubes, pipes, which connect to the block breakers. I don't know if I showed you the bottom of this, but I'll wait till dig. Okay, and here's the bottom of the ship. A line of block breakers, and of course a line of frames. Now, what's really cool about this is it gives you the opportunity to move left, move right, move left, move right, move left, down, right, down, and it just keeps doing that, and it digs that way. So, back to the inside of the ship, and back to the terminal here. So, I decided to write a command called moving direction. And all that did was you provided a number, you provided a direction that you want to go, and it will move that many times. Now, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Moving direction is actually a variable that is kept inside the computer so that way it can look up how many times it needs to move. Move X times is the actual command that moves you. So what you would do is actually provide some kind of number of how many times, let's say 3. We want to move forwards. We want to move X times. And what's nice is that it will actually count down how many times it needs to move should be one more. There we go. And of course, it starts at 0, which isn't a big deal. And it ends on 2. Not a big deal at all. So, the next step was to create a simple mine once. And all that is that it digs, moves right, digs, down and left. So it's basically a complete circle, digs, and mines. And that's all it does. There's nothing more to it, nothing too fancy or anything like that. So I'm going to stop this video and start another showing the entire digging process. This is the ship actually moving forward. I thought I'd step outside the ship and show you guys of it moving forward by itself. Now of course there's a little bit of lag. I'm working off a laptop and it keeps flickering as it moves. You know, small deal, not a big deal at all. But it's still pretty cool to watch. I could only imagine if I had a stronger processor and everything like that, of how cool this thing would actually look as it was moving forward. And of course you could see the damage that it did. If you look at the bottom there, there was actually a piece of lava that had actually stopped me from being able to continue to mine. So there is a problem, and you can fix it. You could actually put water on the side of the ship if you wanted to, or water underneath the ship. But what was happening was that the water was touching the lava, and that it was actually creating a block on the back of the ship here, and of course it wouldn't go any lower, and that's why there's still lines down there. Normally it would be able to go all the way down and hit the bedrock. And from the looks of it, the ship is completed moving. So let's go back inside and let's start mining. If I could get inside the ship. Oh, almost. Give me a second to try to get in my ship. Success, I have made it inside my ship. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin digging. Now, I decided to, let's say that we wanted to do 30 times mine once. Now you're asking yourself, why didn't you use move x times? Well, it's not actually calling a function. All that does is loop through and moves a direction. It doesn't actually call a function. Probably if you're better at the system, you could actually probably provide a method that you could just pass to it that will be called continually. But for what I did, calling this is just fine. Of course, I don't have a countdown. So let's go ahead and begin mining. And of course, I am above ground. So it's going to take a little bit for it to actually hit the water area. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and return once it actually gets down to that area. And here we are. We just started breaking blocks. If you saw, the back two just executed, and there's a block there. You should see it disappear here. Pop! And there it goes. It is now currently being sent through the pneumatic tubes, which ends up going inside the ender chest and gets sent to my automatic sorter. So let's get inside here. Okay, we are now successfully inside the ship. Now you may actually wonder, oh, it's gonna get wet, things aren't gonna work, it's gonna be inside the water. Well, actually, since everything is covered up appropriately, no water gets in, so we actually get a pretty cool view looking out into the sea as we actually mine through all this area. It does take a little bit, but that's okay. You have to think about a query and how fast that actually runs, and compared to that, this is phenomenally faster. Phenomenally faster? Very much faster. And as you can see, we're actually beginning to go into the water. Success. We are now in the water. That's pretty cool, huh? Let's take a look at our ender chest and see what we're working with here. Give it a moment. There we go. You can see how fast those blocks are coming in. And you could only imagine. Well, actually it looks like all of the block breakers are actually being called. So blocks are just streaming in like no tomorrow. And of course with my automatic filter system or automatic sorting system, it is almost instantly being picked up on the other side. I would show you that, but I've seemed to see problems running away from the ship, and for some reason solar panels end up disappearing, or one piece of wire ends up disappearing. So I just like to stay inside the ship until it is fully complete. And of course, you know, it's a really cool thing to just sit inside this ship and just, you know, enjoy the view. Being under the water or under the lava. Of course, it's laggy. There's a lot going on, and this is a laptop, you know. Not really meant for full-time video, but that's okay. It gives you an idea. So to show you, things moving left and right over here. Oh, did you see it? The frame ends up. If only I had a faster computer, this would be much better quality. It's working appropriately. It's just my PC. There we go. Okay, so basically the red wire gets turned on. It causes the one. Hold on. This one right here to turn on, which moves out that one. There you go. And it actually moves the entire ship. And it's returned back to where it's supposed to be. Like I said, I could only imagine how awesome this would be under a faster computer. So that is my Subterrain. It is also a submarine, but this one is specifically for digging into the ground. It's a huge mining system, and it moves, I don't know how many times faster than an actual quarry, and it only runs off of red power. So I hope that you enjoyed looking at my Subterrain machine, and if you have any ideas on how to possibly speed up or make it look cooler, I'll be more than happy to take your advice. On top of that, I'll show you in a separate video, hopefully, how to actually create these so that way you can do it for your, create your own Subterrain machine. Okay, well, I hope that you enjoyed it, and